Last weekend I made my way up to Scotland to do a training camp with the Scottish team in preparation for the World Weightlifting Champs going on in 4 weeks. This gave me a chance to work with some of the amazing coaches in the Scottish team and also meet up with the athletes that are also going out to Worlds and are pursuing their Commonwealth Games journey. As someone that just trains in the garage by themselves, it was a really good opportunity for me to figure out whether I'm doing things right, what things I can learn from the other lifters, and make sure that I'm focusing on the right things on the build up to Worlds. But thankfully, I'm not doing everything completely wrong. But there are definitely a few things that I learned on my time up there. First one for me is a big one, is I'm not the only one with niggles constantly. Training at a high level for sport, you pick up injuries along the way. Your bits of you start hurting. For me, things like my knees and my shoulders. There's always something a little bit funky going on there. So it's good to know that I'm not the only one. Pretty much everyone there has got something going on, whether it's tendonitis in the knees, funky shoulders, back pain, all sorts of things. So it's good to know it's not just me in that boat. Another very important lesson that I learned is I'm probably overtraining a little bit. I try and train 6 days a week. My week is an 8-day week based on my work schedule. So I only have 2 rest days in that week. One thing I'm going to look at going forwards is dropping one of those days down and trying to put in another recovery day, try and help recover between sessions. I think this will be really useful for me because I was speaking to one of the coaches and saying that my training either goes really well or really badly, and really in reflection thinking about it, if I'm training 6 days a week but I'm only getting 2, maybe 3 good training days out of that, then I'm not actually maximising my training. Whereas if I can drop a day, get a bit more recovery in there and up my effort on my actual training days, then instead of having 2 or 3 training days where I feel like I'm getting the most out of it, hopefully I'll get 4 or 5 training days where I feel like I can get the most out of it. That way, hopefully, I'll get a little bit better, a bit quicker. For me though, it feels really counterintuitive because I've come from a CrossFit background where it's volume, 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 try and train as much as you can. And you always look at different athletes that are putting in 2-a-days and things like that, like Carlos Nazar training twice a day, but in reality, they are professional full-time athletes. He's got someone doing body work on him before and after every session. I don't have that. I've got to try and maximise the facilities that I do have to make the most out of my training. Another athlete that I can use for inspiration though is Olivia Reeves, who's one of the American lifters who trains 4 times a week. She can do it, I'm sure I can do it as well. Big positive that was that I didn't get masses of tips on technique. The main thing that I do need to work on that I've taken away from the camp is being in better control of my shoulders in my start position. I think coming from, again, a CrossFit background where you're more focused on moving a bar smoothly and quickly, my setup position can be a bit loose and it really stems from my lower back being a bit tighter. I'm going to try and work on setting up a little bit better, being a bit tighter in my start position. Hopefully that will result in me getting some bigger lifts in the long run. Overall though, had an amazing time at the camp. It was great to train with other people, especially for me, someone that trains on their own in the garage 90% of the time. It's a good opportunity for me to meet up with other lifters and see what they're doing, learn from them, and like I said, make sure I am doing the right things in my process of getting to Worlds and hopefully to the Commonwealth Games, of which Worlds is only 4 weeks away, which is quite scary. Look out for a video on World Champs coming soon. If you have liked the video, please hit that like and subscribe button, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.